All right, Melissa.
Yeah.
Melissa, where are you from originally? Where did you grow up?
Montebello, California.
Tell me about your family. You had both your parents?
No, my mom abandoned me and my brother when I was about 2.5 years old. Kind of like she left us with our dad, and my dad couldn't take care of us, so my grandpa came over all the way to Riverside to pick me and my brother up and took us home.
What was going on at home that your parents couldn't?
My dad was abusive to my mom, and my mom, I guess she couldn't take it no more, and being that she was young, she like didn't want to I guess have responsibility with children, and so she just like left. She took off. She took all the money in the house. She took the car. She just left and never came back.
You never saw her again?
I saw her recently, like in 2010. I went over to Las Vegas to go visit her, and I ended up staying with her for like about a month, and she kicked me out of the house. She thought I was on drugs and stuff, and I wasn't. I was actually clean and sober. I had a job, and she basically just like, I guess she couldn't like deal with the fact that I was being nice to her after all those years of her not being around, and she just decided to kick me out of the house. And that's when I kind of like started to become homeless. I ended up prostituting out there in Las Vegas, and I got raped, and ended up having to come back to California. I stole a car and I came back over here. So yeah.
How would you describe your childhood with your grandparents?
It was, well, my grandfather. Well, I had a step grandmother, because my biological grandmother, she passed away when she was like 34. It was all right, but then my step grandma, she like left, and that's when kind of like everything went bad, sort of. I ended up getting taken out of the care of my grandfather and put with my aunt because of child abuse that happened. But it wasn't really even nothing. It was just like, my grandpa just slapped my brother on the face and left a mark, and the teacher took it blew it out of proportion, and we ended up moving with my aunt. And that's when I got molested in over there in her care by my uncle. And I never knew what child molestation was until like I was like about 14. And then that's when I was just like, I wanted to say something so bad, but I didn't. It was just like, because if I knew I told my grandpa would be in prison. Yeah.
And you were there until?
I was there up until, I would say like, until before I started high school. And when we came back to my grandfather's house, and that's when I was like kind of like, I wasn't like doing all right. I was just kind of like running away from the home, ditching school, not even trying up until like maybe my junior year, I would say. Yeah, my junior year, that's when I kind of like, I got taken out of regular high school, got put into continuation because I got into a fight. And I was like doing good. I did good. I graduated on time. I know after I graduated high school, I went to join the military. I ended up joining the Marines, but I got pregnant with my son, so I couldn't go to boot camp. And I ended up having my son at 19. But after I had my son, not that long ago, I got pregnant with my second son, and my grandpa passed away. So. So, when my grandpa passed away, that's when kind of like everything went bad. Like, my aunt, I remember my aunt telling me, and I had my son early. I ended up having my son 3 days after my grandpa passed away. She was like, I hope you and your kids, I hope you don't think you're gonna be living in this house with you and your kids. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how are you gonna, man. Like, how are you gonna kick out your own niece? Knowing I had nowhere to go. I couldn't take, I couldn't take my older son with me to New York because a custody between me and the dad. And so I had to leave him in California. And then when I go move to New York with my second oldest son's dad, everything's fine up until I get a phone call from my dad telling me that his grandma is trying to get complete custody of my son. And I'm like, oh shit. So I ended up having my brother bring my son to New York. And so she's calling, like, his grandma's calling the cops and everything. And it's either I brought my son back to California or I was gonna get arrested for kidnapping. So I take my son back to California to his grandmother. And since that time, I didn't go back to New York. I ended up staying in California and being like homeless. I was like going from place to place. It was crazy. It was like all bad. And then I go back to New York for a little while. For some reason, like I couldn't, like, I don't know, like when I found my mom, like I ended up going out there to go see her and thinking that, you know, everything was gonna be okay and stuff, and it wasn't. She ended up kicking me out. I don't know. And I ended up prostituting out there, and I ended up getting raped. And so I haven't talked to her since then. And I don't want to talk to her. Like, she like really messed up. And I don't know.
Where are your kids now?
Well, I have five kids. My oldest, he's in California. He's already like 21, gonna be 21. He's doing good. He graduated high school. He works. He's gonna be going to school. I mean, well, hopefully soon he'll go to school. He wants to become a probation officer. My second oldest son, he graduated high school. He lives in New York. And my daughter, I had given her up for adoption. She lives here in California with her parents. She's doing good. And my two younger sons, they live here in California too.
Who are they staying with?
They got adopted by the same, well, the second to the oldest son, youngest son, my two sons, they got adopted together. And my daughter sees her brothers, so it's like being that, like, they were part of like the foster care. She was able to, like, her parents were able to like get partial custody of the other ones, so they're like family, you know. So yeah, they stick together, which I'm like grateful for, because I mean you hardly ever hear that happen. Yeah. And I believe my other two kids, well, I know Jacob, my older one, he communicates with his sister. So yeah.
Do you feel like the childhood you had kind of led you to this?
Well, it's not just that. It's like where I thought when I was younger, like me and my aunt, we were like really, you know, we were cool with each other, you know, like I could always, like, you know, go to her and tell her things, you know, but she didn't believe me when I told her that I got molested by my uncle. And she was just kind of like, she was like, you know, she kind of like labeled me like the black sheep of the family, you know, because I, you know, did drugs and stuff like that. And, you know, I was just like, but when I think about it, it's like, I don't even know why I did some of that stuff, but I know why, because I was molested. And I was like trying to reach out to someone. If I would have told my grandfather, he would have ended up in prison for murder, because I know my grandpa. Like, he was very protective of me and my brother, and he wouldn't have let that, he wouldn't let that slide. Like, that would have been like detrimental. Like, I mean, and then he ended up in prison, and then where do we end up? Back over there again, Like, that was out. So I didn't tell nobody for like years. And I finally tell my aunt, and she just like, she didn't care. Like, she had no care in the world. And when she got control over my grandpa's, the trust and all that, she didn't care. Like, she just like, she knew I had kids. She knew, like, and she didn't give a shit. She was just like out for just the money, and that was it. I was like, wow. And that proves that, I mean, like, there's people out here in the street that are like more family to me than my own blood family, That's crazy.
Did you feel loved when you were young?
I did, by my grandfather.
Yeah.
My grandfather is the only person who I trusted in this world, and he was like everything. He was my mom, my dad, everything. Like, he would wake up at 5:30 in the morning, make me and my brother breakfast, and he made sure we had food in our belly before we went to school. He would drove us to the bus stop. He dropped us off, and then he would be right there to pick us up. Like, he like really like loved us, And I mean, and from being that, he came through like hardship too as well. It's like kind of like, he grew up through the Great Depression. I mean, when he started to raise us, he was already like 72, I think. Yeah, he was like 72. And my grandma, she died at 34, so he had to raise 4 kids by himself, 3 girls and 1 boy, which is my dad. And not only that, but when he remarried, my step grandma, she already had 2 sons of her own, and he raised them. And then afterwards, raising me and my brother, I'm like, damn, he went through a lot. He went through like poverty, like actual like poverty, like, it's crazy. This is why like I don't like really complain about like a lot of things, because it's like, what he went through is like way more than what I've been through, And he was in the Navy. He volunteered for the Navy. That's how he got his citizenship. He was an immigrant. He came from Mexico. And he lost his mom at 7 years old. He lost his mom. She died. And so he came over here to California, from Texas to California, with his dad. And they were like migrant workers, seasonal workers and stuff. And he did the orange groves, picked cherries. He did all that. And he used to have a shoe shine stand over right there in front of Macy's Plaza. He would shine shoes. He went to school, but he didn't graduate. He didn't graduate. He used to be a cross country runner for the high school, but he didn't graduate. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know, my life, my appreciation for life is like I love life, but at times it's like there's days where I just like, I don't know, like I'm just like thinking like what's this world coming to sometimes, Like not everybody has like, the moral values, like they used to back then. It's crazy. But I'm grateful for having him in my life though. Yeah. He taught me.
Where do you stay now?
I stay right here at the Continental with a friend.
You've been homeless for a while?
Well, I've been homeless. I've been down here since like 2011.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah. And then six of those years was with some jerk who abused me. I had 2 children with him, my 2 younger sons, and we were homeless for quite some time. Been homeless, I've been back and forth here and there, but then I had gotten an apartment on my own recently at the Madison, and ended up like losing the apartment because my my year lease was up, and then not only that too, my caseworker kind of messed up my pilot program thing, and I don't know, but I just like let it go. So I was like, whatever, it's all right. And then I became homeless again, and been here and there at friend's house and stuff. But this time, like, you know, thankfully for, you know, my friend or whatever, that, you know, I got a place to stay and shit. So I'm grateful for that.
How do you support yourself now?
I actually work for DoorDash.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. I work for DoorDash, but like I need to get a bike though, cause it's hard like walking and stuff like that, you know, cause like I have like a spinal condition and stuff. So I'm just like try to make sure I don't like, you know, aggravate it any more than it already is. But yeah.
What is your drug?
I do crystal meth. Yeah, I smoke and I inject too. It's been I started actually doing crystal when I was like 14. Yeah. I was 14 and I got hooked ever since then. That's crazy.
Have you ever been clean?
I've been clean for like when I was pregnant with my kids, except for one. Well, actually 3 of them. I was still doing dope when I was pregnant with 3 of them. As far as like having like a long period of time, I think the longest I went without dope was maybe about 2 years. And it's like I could stay away from it, but it's sometimes it's hard to, especially like, you know, dealing with like all this shit down here and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. I say like I would walk around here like at nighttime, like, you know, like going through the dumpsters, like, you know, like not really recycling, but like kind of like, you know, in the fashion district, they would like throw away like, you know, fabric and all that stuff and things like that. And I would go around picking stuff up, and I don't know, like I would thinking nothing of it, like, you know, so naive to what was really going on. Like I had an experience once where I was walking up. What was it? Walking up. I think it was walking up 3rd Street. Yeah, I was walking up 3rd, and I was coming up to the tunnel. But there's this parking lot area that was right there, and for some reason, like, I don't know if I was just like I was like walking towards the dumpster, and then like I seen like a black dog right there, and for some reason I knew the dog wasn't there, but it was there for a reason, and so I didn't go there. And I walk up, I keep like standing there, like trying to like see what the hell was, you know, because I knew something bad was there, and I was just like, that's crazy. I see my friend come up, and I told him, I go, can you check out what's over there? Because for some reason, like I see I feel like there's something bad over there. And I leave and come to find out that it was somebody dead, they were murdered, but they were like cut up, murdered, like, and that's when I stopped doing all that. I was like, I stopped going around to the dumpsters because of that one incident. And ever since that day, they close the gates now. They don't leave it open no more. And I was like, wow. Like, that was crazy. Like, somebody got murdered back there. I was like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, being on Skid Row is really...
Yeah,
it's a rough life, isn't it?
It can actually, like, really, like take hope away from you if you have any hope, or if, like, you know, like, thinking that, you know, you can, like, become something, like, you know, good out of this. It's just like, it really makes like a dent in your spirit, you know. It's just like really messed up, you know. But I've heard people that been through a lot worse, and they've made it out, like, you know, did something good with their life, and that gives me, like, you know, hope that, you know, to keep going.
You still have hope.
Yeah, it's like, one thing is that people can always, like, you know, break you down, but it's up to you in the end whether you want to allow them to, you know? Like, at the end of the day, it's you who makes that decision, not them, you know? And you can't blame anybody but yourself for any hardships that you've been through, unless, you know, they were pretty much inevitable, you know? But yeah, and I just, for me, like, a lot of people think, like, well, you've been through nothing. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I've been through nothing, you know? Like, I mean, I've heard some like way far out, you know, and I just look at them like, and they're still here and they're still alive. And I'm like grateful for that because that gives me hope to continue on, you know? Like,
I asked you this earlier, but I'll ask you again. Do you feel like what you went through, all the trauma you went through as a young girl, kind of led you to this path?
yeah. Yeah, because it's like, if I didn't go through what I went through, like, I think I would have been like somewhere else, you know? Like, that one moment that I could have made a decision to just like, you know, let things be, or I think where it messed up was because my aunt, when she actually officially evicted me from the house, this was like back in 2010, I want to say, or yeah, around there, 2010 or 11, I think. She legally evicted me out of the house, and I wasn't even inside the house. I was living inside my grandpa's van because it was still there, parked on the driveway. And it was cool. Like I had electricity, you know, no running water, but just electricity and, you know, basic necessities. She ended up donating the van and evicted me out of the house, officially evicted me out of the house. And I was actually going to school. I was trying to get my shit together. And I was clean. I was actually clean. And that's what like led me back up into doing dope again and fucking up again. Cause she evicted me out of the house and I didn't know where to go. And I ended up going to a friend's house and they got evicted from there. And and so I ended up in the riverbed. In Montebello in the riverbed, and that was scary, but it was kind of cool because I was around people that I knew, you know, like friends and stuff, and yeah.
What's been your lowest point?
I would say when I was with my ex, I was pregnant with our third child, and he ended up like beating my ass to a point to where I lost the baby. And after that, like I was just like I felt like something was ripped away from me, you know, like he beat me bad, like, and it was scary because I've been with this person for like 6 years and he beat me over a phone that he thought I was trying to give to somebody else, and it ended up falling out of his back pocket and it cracked, the screen cracked, so he took his anger out on me. And so we were living over on 2nd and Figueroa, but well, more closer to Cesar Chavez and in the underpasses, the freeway underpass right there. And all I can remember is when he was closing up the hatch, there's only one way in and one way out. And it was like, he's gonna kill me. I was like, he's gonna finally do it. He's finally gonna kill me. And he beat me so bad. It was like, I'll never forget that. Never forget that. That's like, and when I thought I had like peed on myself, but it wasn't pee. It was like, you know, the baby of the miscarriage. Yeah. And I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I couldn't go nowhere for like almost like a week because, you know, he had us like cooped up in there, like holding me hostage and shit. And finally, when somebody came to check on us, like he opened up the hatch and I was able to, you know, get the fuck out of there. And I left, but I was like, when I got into my friends, I had started bleeding, and I was like, I didn't know what was really going on. And I was like, that's crazy, because I was no more than like about a month pregnant. And when I went to my friends, I was gonna go pick up some crystal or some dope, and I went over by Alvarado, by MacArthur Park area, and as soon as I sat down on the sidewalk, all the blood just started like going down the sidewalk and stuff, and I was like, wow. Somebody called the paramedic for me, and there was this little girl. She was so calm. She was like telling me, she's like, it's okay. You know, she was like no more than like 7 years old. And I was like, she's like, it's okay, it's okay. She said, don't worry, don't worry. And I was like, oh my God. And all I could remember was just trying to stay awake. And when the paramedic got there, like, she was like smiling. She was like waving, like, bye. I was like, oh, wow. Like, it was like, I was like, wow. I was like, and crazy thing is, like, the paramedic, they took the scenic route. So it was like, I guess they were trying to, like, not have me panic. So I was just like, kind of like, you know, they turned off the siren and everything, and they were like, you know, coasting all the way to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, that was like the worst experience ever in my life. The doctor, the ER doctor, not cool, not cool. He like, you know, it's like an instrument like about this long, and it's got a razor at the tip, and it's a vacuum. So, and it's like this long extended hose all the way to like this thing where it looks like a blender. It's so messed up. It's just going like, you know, carelessly going in and out. He cuts me, and I'm like, when he's done doing whatever it is that he was doing, the nurse, she like pulls me to the side, like, you know, like in the bed or whatever, pulls me to the side. I'm like laying there, and then all of a sudden I feel like this gush of like blood like come out from, like, you know, and when I call the nurse, she like lifts up the blanket and she looks, and she's like, it looked like my intestines were coming out of my, you know, and I was like, oh shit, that's not cool, you know, like, and so I'm like looking at her like, and she like trying not to panic. She calls for me to go to the emergency surgery, and so she brings me this paper like to sign, like, so I don't sue the hospital for malpractice. And I'm like, I shouldn't have signed it, but basically what she was telling me was like, either you sign it and you get your surgery, or you don't and you die. And I'm like, I really don't want to die, so I'm like, I have no choice but to sign the paper. I'm like, okay. So I signed the paper, and I get, you know, they take me to the emergency room. The nurse, she's like putting like blankets on me because I'm like getting cold. And so they take me, they put me under, and then they, you know, fix me. But now it's like, where I think I have like a hernia because where the incision where they try to fix it, but now I think I have a hernia because I think it got messed up or something. I don't know, that was crazy. That was great. That was like, but the doctors in the ER, they were like really nice. They saved my life, you know. It's like, but the other doctor, I'm like, I don't know about him. Like, he either needs to get fired or something, because he's not very good with people at all. Like, he was like having like a bad day or something. Like, just, that's crazy.
What is your greatest fear now?
Right now, like, I don't really have any fears. Like, I think I've been through like enough to where like I could say like, I mean, I've seen 2 people die in front of me. One person, he got stabbed, and then another one, he got shot. So I've seen death, experienced death. I'm not scared of dying, but it's just like I'm scared of like leaving this earth and not doing nothing good, you know? Like my goal has always been to like go and to like, you know, another country and go help, you know, people and stuff like that, you know, humanitarian work, because I mean I love doing that, you know? But like lately I just haven't been able to really do anything because I've been in this you know, area right here. So it's just like, I don't know. I think when I get myself out of here, I think that's when I'll be able to do better. Yeah.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life? Just no matter what bad happens to you, just never change who
who you are inside. You know, don't become that, you know, that evil. You know, just still be, you know, keep your wings. You know, like just don't stray. Don't, even if people do you wrong, still keep that, you know, good inside. You know, and like don't become that. You know, don't become what they are. You know, like, because you can kill people with hatred, but you can also kill people with kindness, you know? And kindness is what kills the hatred in this world. Not hatred. Hatred just only causes more hate, you know? That's why, like, all these, like, wars and shit that happens, it's like, what are you fighting for? What are you, materialistic things that we're not gonna take with us when we pass away? That's ridiculous. Like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be president, president of the United States of America. I'm like, wow. I mean, it's possible that I could still, like, you know, become that, but like maybe like in the background somehow. I don't know.
Anything is possible.
Very true. Yeah. I could, like, I know, like, this one person, I met him on the train. He was running for governor. And in order to run for governor, all you have to do is get so many signatures and you got a spot to, you know? And I was like, he was going on the trains, walking on the trains, getting signatures. I was like, I signed it. I was like, that was cool. I could do that too. I was like, that's cool. I gotta start somewhere, no?
You do.
Yep. Yep.
Excellent. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.